Nudging for better decisions. Hey there. Let's kick this off with a few questions that might hit close to home. Why do we delay saving for retirement, even when we know we should? Why do some of us ignore tax notices until the last minute, even if we're not trying to cheat the system? And why does filling out a simple form sometimes feel like a huge barrier? The answer has less to do with laziness or lack of information, and more to do with how choices are presented to us. Today, we're diving into the science of nudging, a behavioral tool that helps people make better decisions without restricting their freedom. We'll explore three major works: the book that started it all, Nudge by Thaler and Sunstein, a research paper asking whether governments should invest more in nudges, and a real-world case study where behavioral nudges helped the UK collect millions in overdue taxes. Let's get into it. Part 1. What is a nudge? The term nudge comes from behavioral economists Richard Thaler and Cass Sunstein. They describe a nudge as any aspect of the choice architecture that alters behavior in a predictable way, without forbidding any options or significantly changing incentives. In plain English, a nudge is a little push, not a shove. Instead of forcing people to act or bribing them to comply, nudges gently guide them toward better decisions by designing choices in a smarter way. Their approach is called libertarian paternalism, a bit of a mouthful, but the idea is simple. Be paternalistic by helping people make choices that benefit them. Be libertarian by keeping all the original options available. You're still free to choose, but the system helps you make a better decision. A classic example, putting fruit at eye level in a cafeteria. You're not banning cookies, you're just making the healthy option easier to grab. Why this matters? Why do we need nudges in the first place? Because humans aren't always rational. We're influenced by habits, emotions, and mental shortcuts. Thaler and Sunstein explain that we have two modes of thinking. System 1, fast, automatic, emotional. System 2, slow, deliberate, logical. Most daily decisions? Yeah, they come from System 1. That's why we put off saving money, forget appointments, stick with default options, order fries instead of salad. So nudges work by reshaping the environment in which decisions are made, making the better choice feel natural. Examples of nudges. Here are some game-changing, real-world applications. Retirement savings. In the US, many workers weren't saving enough for retirement. But when companies began automatically enrolling employees into retirement plans, while still allowing them to opt out, participation skyrocketed. That simple default switch changed lives. Save More Tomorrow. This program lets employees commit in advance to saving a portion of future salary increases. It works with their natural tendencies. We're more willing to commit to future changes than immediate ones. It's like tricking your present self to help your future self. Organ donation. Countries with opt-out organ donation policies, meaning you're a donor by default unless you say no, have dramatically higher participation rates than those with opt-in policies. Cafeteria layouts. Studies show that simply placing healthy food options in more prominent positions can significantly increase how often they're chosen, without removing unhealthy choices. Prescription plans. Simplifying confusing Medicare. Part D forms helped more seniors choose better plans. School choices, providing clearer rankings and easier to read school comparisons, increased informed decision-making among parents. In all of these cases, the common thread is small tweaks in presentation with big impacts. Part 2. Should governments invest more in nudging? In 2017, a research team led by Shlomo Benartzi took a closer look at a very practical question. Should governments spend more money on nudges? They compared the cost-effectiveness of nudges to traditional policies, things like tax incentives, grants, or regulation, across sectors like education, energy, health, and retirement. The result? Nudges often delivered similar or better outcomes at a fraction of the cost. Let's unpack that. Nudges versus traditional tools. College enrollment. A study showed that just helping families fill out the FAFSA, the Federal Student Aid Form, led to a big increase in college attendance. Per dollar spent, this nudge was about 40 times more effective than expanding financial aid. Energy savings. Some electric companies mailed home energy reports comparing a household's energy use to that of their neighbors. That simple social comparison nudge led to significant reductions in energy use. Compared to traditional rebate programs, these nudges save 2 to 8 times more energy per dollar spent. Retirement. Automatic enrollment in retirement plans, again, costs almost nothing but gets people saving far more than expensive tax deductions. Why it works. Nudges address what economists call behavioral market failures. These aren't failures due to price or supply, but failures caused by human psychology. Procrastination, overwhelm, fear of commitment, poor information processing. Nudges help people overcome those blocks. And since they're cheap to implement, governments can A/B test different nudges, see what works best, and scale them up quickly. So instead of spending $100 million on subsidies, a country could spend $1 million on behavioral programs and possibly get even better outcomes. In short, nudges offer massive return on investment. Part 3, Nudges in Action, Tax Compliance Case Study. Let's bring this down to earth with a real success story. In the UK, the government wanted to collect unpaid taxes from over 200,000 people. Instead of just sending out the usual letters, they partnered with behavioral scientists to test different versions with added psychological nudges. Some letters said, 9 out of 10 people pay their tax on time. Others added, you are in the small minority who haven't paid yet. Others reminded people what taxes pay for. Paying your tax helps fund the NHS, roads, and schools. The results. What happened? The control group, who got the standard letter, paid at a normal rate. But people who got the social norm letters, especially the ones saying they were in the minority, paid significantly more. The minority message alone increased compliance by 5 percentage points. That might not sound huge, but across hundreds of thousands of people, it translated into millions of pounds collected at almost zero extra cost. The public service message about paying for the NHS and schools also worked, though less powerfully. What we learn. This case proves that small psychological shifts, a single sentence in a letter, can influence behavior more than fines or threats. It also tells us people respond to social norms. People care about being seen as good citizens. People are more likely to act if they know others are acting too. This wasn't about making threats. It was about giving people a little nudge, a behavioral mirror that helped them do what they probably already intended to do. So what can we take away from all this? Nudges are based on real human behavior, not just textbook rationality. They're often low cost, easy to implement, and easy to scale. They don't eliminate freedom, they make good decisions easier. And in a world of limited budgets and complex challenges, they might just be the secret weapon we've been looking for. Whether it's getting people to save, learn, conserve energy, or pay taxes, sometimes all it takes is a better design choice. So the next time you're trying to encourage better behavior in your workplace, your city, or even your own life, ask yourself, how can I make the better choice, the easier choice? Thanks for tuning in. And remember, design your decisions before your decisions design you.